Threading of the tabs is very simple. Take the tab leader, insert it into the machine above between the two pieces of metal. Once you feel a little pressure, just spin the tab advanced counterclockwise and the leader will come out the back. At this point you can release the pressure on the roller and pull your tabs through. Bring the front of your tab leader up and gently slide it into the assembly. Grab your leader from the back, make a small loop, and wrap it around the take-up spool. After that, you'll simply bring the leader around and slide this bearing down. Ensure that you've locked your tab pressure back into the on position. And at this point, what you'd like to do is dial your sensor down to the 1, and you'll gently advance your tab roll until you see a tab start to peel off the backing in about that position there. At this point, you can take your exit roller and just, once again, these arms lift, just gently slide it in. We'll just adjust the machine a bit. What I'm going to do for you now is I'm going to go ahead and attach the elevation assembly. There's a screw with a thumb screw and then a small, goes directly into the center for most male pieces. You can also attach it to the left and to the right, as there are 2 assemblies, and that's what I'll do now. There's the first. The second attaches. There are multiple positions for this assemblies. It just depends on the size male piece that you're using and the position that you're putting your tab. Okay. After you've assembled the elevation guides, what you'll do is you'll open the safety cover, and this is a hopper assembly. If you want, it simply holds the envelopes in place between the elevation guides. The way to assemble this is simply lean the piece back, slide the bottom onto the bar, and then firmly press it into position. It's a pressure assembly. It's just simply held on by the pressure of the bearings here. Here's the second one. Once again, same thing, just lean it back, up under the bar, and slide it onto the machine. These, once again, help hold the envelopes or your mail stock in position as it's running through the tabbing unit. So it'd be like that. You don't want them pressed tight against. You want to have about a dime's width so that they're in there but they're held firmly. At this point, you want to go ahead and set up for your piece thickness. Piece thickness is adjusted by this assembly in the back, or gate assembly. You see these separator tips above each of the rollers. Generally, what you'll do is you'll slide one piece of material into the assembly, let the assembly drop down on top of it, and then just gently tighten these thumb screws. If you notice that your machine is feeding a little erratically, it's perhaps not feeding the one piece smoothly, or it's pulling multiple pieces, more likely you've got your separator tips and your gate assembly set too tight or too loose. A good rule of thumb is to take a piece and a half, so it'd be one envelope in this case with the edge leading over it, and I'll set my adjustment for that. We'll start off with the one just to see how it performs for us today. At this point, the machine feed assembly is set up properly. Hopper assembly elevation guides are set up. We have the tab assembly on with the tabs threaded. We've adjusted the sensor for the tabs to position 1, and we've advanced our first tab to where it's just peeling off of the backing. At this point, we can go ahead and plug the machine in and adjust our tab sensor so that it's reading the tabs correctly and positioning them onto the mail piece correctly. With the machine For it to operate, you have to have the safety cover closed. There's a safety switch on this side right here. If for whatever reason you close your machine and you go to press the feed button and you do not see a light, an indicator light up, simply grab the cover and just adjust it back this way so it makes contact with the safety switch. In that case, it should begin to feed when the feed button is pressed. As you can see, the feed button has been pressed, the lights come on, and the feed roller started to pull, and my envelopes start to feed through. So slip feeding seems to be working fine. So at this point we'll go ahead and we'll set up for our sensor. I'm just going to use the envelopes for now, as it seems. With the feed mechanism off, I press the tab button. You'll notice over here near the tab sensor adjustment, you have an LED light and you have a dial. The dial should be dialed down to 1, the LED light should be off. At this point you'll take the dial and you simply turn it a click until you have the first red light come on. We've already advanced our first tab, so it begins to peel from the backing. And so at this point what I'll do is I generally like to start off with envelopes for leading edge. I'll adjust my tab sensor up to the 5 position and I'll feed through one or two pieces just to see where the tab is being placed. In this instance you see the tab, there's too much tab on the top of the envelope and not enough tab on the bottom. In which case we simply take our adjustment and we'll just click it 1-2 clicks to the next highest number, which advances the tab. And now you see